Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, better than all right. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Hey, I got a guest coming up later in the program that I always like to talk to. His name is Charlie. We do Tuesdays with Charlie every Tuesday.
Yeah, we do.
So we chatting with your papa coming up here in a little bit. Listen to this. A man in Mexico protested the way people with tattoos and piercings were treated. He said, people treat us like freaks. So guess how he protested?
How's that?
By hanging himself from a tree, suspended by wires through his various piercings.
That should fix it.
Yeah, nobody's going to treat you like a freak,
No,
man.
that'll-
You showed them a thing or two. What in the world was he thinking? That's not the way you protest being treated
I
like a
have
freak.
tons of tattoos, but
Yeah.
they're
Have you ever
all
been treated like
hit-
a freak?
No.
Well, you should hang from a tree.
You know what, though? I saw online the other day this guy was all kinds of bent out of shape because he had one of those giant holes
Grommets?
through his ear.
Yeah.
And somebody walked up behind him and locked a padlock into his ear, and they took off running. He didn't have a key to get it off.
That's not nice.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, but that's not nice. Hey, coming your way here in a bit. We've got some special things happening today. We'll tell you what those are in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, the 15th day of March, so we're halfway through this month, and it's Buzzard Day.
Oh, why would you want to celebrate buzzards?
Celebrate buzzards. It's also Ides of March. I've heard of that, but I really don't know what that is. It's International Day of Action Against Canadian Seal Slaughter.
Ah.
It's kind of hard to put that on a postcard. That's a big title. It's also National Agriculture Day, National Shoe the World Day, True Confessions Day, World Consumer Rights Day, and Brutus Day. So a lot of stuff going on today. This whole National Shoe the World Day, that's cool. So good day to donate shoes to make sure that they get to people who need shoes. And the True Confessions Day. Is there anything you want to confess right now, Heidi?
Not really, no.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I got anything. Not really. I'll confess this. I didn't pre-read everything I'm going to tell you today. I'll confess that now, but you would have known within a few minutes anyway. Coming up, we got some more. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. What is it with spouses of the gentler persuasion that feel that they can toss their husband's favorite shirts in the trash or their sweaters without asking? Husbands would never presume to have that type of power. Even if we thought about throwing one of our wives' sweaters away, we'd be in the doghouse for a month if we even thought about it, wouldn't we? If I just threw your stuff away? But the women, they must feel they can do the very same thing with no repercussion whatsoever. Now there's a good reason for wives to stop this practice. It could be dangerous. Recently, a man squeezed himself a garbage chute in his apartment in an attempt to get his favorite sweater back.
Oh my gosh, for real?
His wife threw it out. The basement doors to the garbage were locked, so he thought, hey, I know what I can do. I'll shimmy down the old garbage chute.
Oh my gosh, just let it go, man.
He did not get the sweater. He did get stuck between floors in the garbage chute. Firefighters were called after the man's wife unsuccessfully tried to save him. Guess what she tried to do?
What?
She lowered a knotted bed sheet down. Here, just grab a hold of this bed sheet. This'll help. Didn't help. The man is now safe. It
I think
is too
she
late.
tried.
Too late. The sweater and the garbage all left the next morning while he was in the hospital. So,
Wow.
yeah, he never got his sweater.
I
So,
have thrown out things of yours that,
I know. Things that I really like. I'm like, that's my favorite shirt. And you're like, I hate it. And I got rid of it, and now it's gone. So, no, you're not getting it back. I think that maybe women everywhere should realize that, okay, that's his, leave it alone. Because if I threw away something of yours, you would not be happy with me at all, would you?
No, I would not.
Yeah, but you throw my stuff away all the time.
I'll
Just
throw
because
it away.
has
I
a bunch of-
donate it.
A bunch of holes in it, and it can't really, it can't be worn anymore. I still wear it.
That's why it has to go.
All I know is this guy got stuck in a garbage chute
Wow.
trying to save his, and you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. What's the worst thing you can do? Maybe schedule to show up your trial for drunk driving charges while you're drunk? Maybe? I don't know. Authorities in Iowa might think so. A 19-year-old from Iowa City showed up drunk to serve a 3-day public detox sentence.
My gosh!
He was there for a detox sentence at the Johnson County Jail. Court records say the initial test showed the man had a blood alcohol of 0.10% when he arrived at the jail. Now he faces another charge requiring even more jail time. So you don't do that. You don't show up drunk when you're supposed to be there serving your sentence.
Oh.
It's like, well, I had to come anyway. Last time I'm going to be able to drink for 3 days, so I better have a all-night bender. It's not a good idea.
I mean,
I don't know if you
I don't
caught-
know. I personally don't really see a problem with that. If you have to go into jail, you might
you're
as well go
not
in and make it
supposed
as
to show
easy
up
on
drunk.
yourself as possible.
Here's the main problem I see. The guy's 19. He's not even old enough to drink.
well, that's true, because
So
that
there.
right there,
Do you
he's
see a
broken the
problem
law.
now?
Yeah,
Okay, thank
yeah,
you.
that I do.
Coming
But
up
if you're over 21, I don't see a problem with going into detox
explains
drunk.
the big difference between the two of us. Coming up, we have your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
An advice column in India ends up giving us our moment of duh. Seems obvious to me, but a newspaper columnist in India shared his remarkable insight in a recent article. If your daughter's hair smells, tell her to wash it. Philip Kingsley, master of the obvious, was answering a question from a reader who wrote him saying her daughter's hair was, quote, really unpleasant. He told readers they could avoid the problem by using shampoo. The solution for teenagers, simple. Encourage them to wash their hair by giving them nice-smelling shampoo and conditioner. Tell them to use the shampoo liberally and rinse several times. That was their advice. So the
Okay.
guy wrote in saying, my daughter's hair is very unpleasant, and he said, tell her to wash it.
Right.
Really? Does he get paid for that advice?
I thought we were going somewhere beyond this, but no, that was it. That's the story.
That's the end of the story.
Okay,
That's all of the advice.
that's super.
If you have questions that easy, first of all, you probably shouldn't even be writing into a newspaper. That is pretty self-explanatory, but apparently not for that.
I wonder
guy.
how much he makes for that.
I have no idea. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. German authorities have captured a motherlode of data about ISIS and their international recruits. They nabbed a list of 22,000 foreign fighters, including their most personal information, like their real names, addresses, and sponsors. So there you go. That's good. It's good that
Okay.
the good guys are getting the info. New research says caffeine improves your memory. A team at Johns Hopkins University found that caffeine has measurable positive effects in both short-term and long-term memory. Who did the study, Heidi? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Who
Yeah,
did
you
the
should have been
study.
listening. Johns Hopkins University. And if you'd have been
That's
drinking
super.
coffee, you'd know that. Oh, wait, you are
I
drinking
am drinking coffee.
Well, for those of you who want caffeine, but you don't want to have to go to all of the mess of drinking coffee, good luck. Go Cubes are here. All of the flavor and the caffeine without that, terrible drinking of coffee. You can have chewable coffee cubes.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, 2 cubes equals the caffeine content of 1 regular cup of coffee.
Why not just eat a spoonful of
I
coffee
don't
grounds
know.
every morning and call it good?
I don't understand. Every year we hear that March Madness costs employers over $1 billion in lost productivity. How much does it cost us in our? How much time do we spend on March Madness?
I don't
Zero.
even know what March Madness
It's a
is, so I
basketball
would
thing.
assume it's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. But even for those of you who are really interested in March Madness and you're spending a lot of time, filling out brackets and doing stuff, you're still not costing over $1 billion in lost productivity. Most time management experts agree the average worker roughly wastes the same time every day on non-work activities. So they're saying if March Madness games weren't going
So
on,
we're all wasting company time.
you'd be wasting that time on something else, like Facebook or watching cat videos or taking longer lunches. So they're like, hey,
That's so sad.
quit blaming March Madness for all your problems. So I don't even know who's playing. I've literally
know
tried to
nothing.
stay out of it. I have friends on Facebook that are talking about it all the time, and I'm like, don't care. Not a sports guy. I'm going to steer clear of this. Hey, a passenger on board a flight in China opened the emergency exit because he wanted some fresh air.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Luckily, they hadn't taken off. They were just about to take off. He's like, it is so stuffy in here. I'm going to just crack this door open for a bit.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
bad idea.
Yeah, it's a good thing they weren't in the air. They would have all been sucked out
It was
of the plane.
right before takeoff, so he's
Wow.
lucky they hadn't taken off. Wildfires strike suddenly and unexpectedly, destroying homes, taking lives, costing billions of dollars every year. Well, now, scientists say new satellite technology developed by NASA could help predict when and where the next fire will strike. This is amazing. The system, known as FireSat, uses infrared sensors to identify wildfires when they have grown to be at least 35 to 50 feet wide. Detection by the system occurs within 15 minutes of the beginning of a fire. So they're saying when a fire breaks out, and it's more than just like a campfire, anything that gets bigger than that, 35 to 50 feet wide, this satellite will detect it and notify somebody that, hey, there's a fire that's a big fire, so get out there and put
That's
it out.
pretty cool.
Yeah, before it becomes
Yeah.
really big.
Love that.
Gwyneth Paltrow plans to stay off the silver screen for a while.
Good.
Has she been in anything lately?
I don't think so.
So is
I
this-
think she's just trying to make herself feel
Wait,
relevant.
I have made a
I've
decision, Heidi.
chosen not
I
to
am-
do anything.
I am not going to make any movies this year. Haven't made any the last few years or ever, but I've decided not to. Why did she? Well, she revealed during an interview on the Today Show last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever it was that she's taking a break from acting to focus on her company Goop, something else I've never heard of.
Me either.
She told Matt Lauer that for the time being, her main focus will be entirely on Goop, her lifestyle brand. That's if you were going to have a lifestyle brand, would you name it Goop? That
No.
doesn't sound good to me. Hey, before you check out, remember the hotel towels are not yours. Because they're owned by big corporations doesn't make it right to steal them. Visitors recently have stolen $50 million worth of towels every year in the United States alone.
I don't ever steal the towels.
No.
I'm so afraid that we're going to get charged for them. They'll charge us like $80 a towel.
Yeah, she leaves the towels alone. She stole a sofa from a hotel once. But
Did
no,
not.
She didn't really. Time for a strange law. In Alabama, you can be put to death for putting salt on a railroad track.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a
I
pretty
wonder
serious...
why. What will that do?
I don't know. It's a strange law. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. Start earning 6%. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com right now. What are you waiting for? Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, that's commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone, we call my father-in-law for a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, no snow.
That's exactly right. No snow.
I'm happy with that as well. So what kind of great stuff are we going to learn today on Tuesdays with Charlie?
Oh, I'm sure you're going to be just amazed at what I have to say.
I probably will be.
Blows your mind sometimes what I come up with.
Yes.
Hey, what month's your birthdays?
Mine's August.
Mine's November.
Okay, then this is going to fit in because you're going to skip it. A study found that people born in May, which is me, have the lowest risk of illness and disease,
Really? I wonder why that is.
while those born in October have the highest.
I'm trying to think of people that are born in October and if they're sick a lot.
My cousin Andy was born in October.
Is he sick a lot?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sick in the head.
He's sick in the head.
And that's pretty good because I can't remember when I've ever been sick or anything.
You're the walking picture of health.
Perfect picture of health. Yes, I am. I'm a walking miracle.
Yes, it's a miracle you can walk sometimes. I know that.
And you like blackberries?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't think I've ever
Oh, they're yummy.
They help the brain retain new information.
Ooh, I should eat more of
Really?
those.
I should get a bunch.
Yeah,
You'd like blackberries. They're kind of like mulberries, Dad.
they're good.
Oh, okay. I could live with that then.
Yeah, they're good.
Yummy.
Okay, now you got to pay attention to what I'm saying here.
I'm paying attention.
Okay, some radar detectors use radar detectors to detect radar detectors to prevent detection.
I followed all of that. And
There's a lot of detectors in
it's
there.
a good idea, really. They can maybe even get a detector to detect if they have a detector detecting their detector.
Yeah.
And then they'd
Then
really
they
be
get
set.
another detector to detect if that detector.
Yeah,
is detected.
it is way too early in the morning for this garbage.
Well, it'll give you something to think about on your way to work. While you're speeding, by the way.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Okay. People are in their best mood while they are bicycling compared to any other mode of transportation.
No kidding. I'm in a better mood when I'm just riding in a car.
I'll probably be in a crappy mood if I had to ride a bike.
I'd be in a happy mood maybe if I was on a motorcycle, but a bicycle, I don't know. Got to do a lot of pedaling and.
That's interesting
That sounds
because
like too
that's
much
not
work.
the emotion I have when I see bicyclists and I have to deal with them on the road.
They don't typically look happy either, usually. Well, at least not when Heidi cuts them off.
Just remember, while you're cutting them off, they're happy. Hey, then, did you know a Coca-Cola employee can get fired for drinking Pepsi on the job?
No
I did
kidding.
know that. I did.
Didn't know that.
Wonder if a Pepsi employee would get fired for drinking Coke.
Probably the
Yeah,
same
I'm
rules,
sure. Yeah.
Okay, then I got one last thing here for you.
All right, what's that?
In order to advertise their services, prostitutes in ancient Greece wore sandals that left the words "Follow me" imprinted in the dirt as they walked.
That's a good idea.
That is an interesting
Follow me.
idea.
Advertising.
Yeah, free advertising.
So just as they walked, one foot said follow, the other one said me, follow me, follow me, follow me.
Yep, on the soles.
That's a great idea.
Well, I'm going to have to get some
Somebody
of those.
was thinking. And making money on the side.
Oh, there you go. I think they were
On their
making
back
money
or
on their
whatever
back,
they
not
do.
on their side.
That's
I'm
what
not
I was
exactly
just
sure how
gonna.
that
I
goes.
was just gonna say that.
Charlie, are you ready for some a good question here?
I think I can answer it.
All right, and there's no way you're going to get it right because it's just a random question with a number, but I do appreciate the email, so thank you for sending this. And who knows, maybe you'll get it right. What is the most money ever paid for a cow at an auction?
In the United States,
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say where it was. What is the most money ever paid for a cow at auction?
1,200,000.
Oh, my goodness. You are so close. 1,300,000.
What?
Damn it.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Way to go, Dad.
1.3 million. You came within 100,000 of getting that correct. That was probably the
Well,
second to the last bid.
That's because I got outbid on it. That's how I knew.
What do you do with a $1.3 million cow?
Anything you want.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. Well, Charlie, you have a great day. We'll talk to you again next week.
I'll be here.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In 1983, a Japanese artist made a copy of the Mona Lisa completely out of toast. Don't know if there was any butter and jelly involved.
That's super.
But, yeah, that was in 1983. Hey, fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
In the early 80s, a toad was discovered that meowed instead of croaking.
Oh, fun. I'd like
Crazy.
to see that.
Yeah. Meow. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Scientists say the rotation of the Earth is slowing down. Each day is being lengthened by 1/10 of a second.
Oh,
so
no.
We're going to have to set our clocks again, I suppose. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
96% of all American children recognize Ronald McDonald. 96%. So there's 4% that don't, apparently. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Researchers indicate that mosquitoes are attracted to people who've recently eaten bananas. One more reason for me to steer clear of bananas. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that?
The average person is about 1/4 of an inch taller at night. You know why? Because you're laying down and you stretch out.
Yeah, your spine isn't compressed.
Yeah. And final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A sneeze zooms out of your mouth at over 600 miles per hour.
That's fascinating.
That is fascinating. That's a fun fact. Coming up, we've got more on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Are you a shopaholic?
Yeah.
You are a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not. Am I a shopaholic?
No.
Not at all. If you are a shopaholic, that could be a good thing, actually. Experts say there are benefits to being a shopaholic. According to at least one expert, you may be getting more than great bargains when you go on your spending spree. You'd be getting a youthful appearance and longer life, too. Yeah. Sociologist Dr. Tom Dunn is one of the first in a study to study the effects of shopping on women. He conducted a 2-year study with 260 ladies, instructing them to keep a careful record of their shopping habits, including how long their sprees lasted and how much dough they spent. You want to know the results?
Sure.
Women who averaged 17 hours of shopping or more per week, spent over $200 on each shopping trip, were slimmer, stronger, and more robust than women who shopped less and spent less. Do you think maybe it's because they also have the money to do other things?
I was going to say it's because they have no money to eat. That's why they're...
That could be it, too. They also found that frequent shoppers showed fewer wrinkles, higher energy levels, brighter skin tones, and better all-around youthfulness. What do you think of that?
I would agree with that.
Women who purchased clothing fared slightly better than women who bought kitchen items and housewares.
I would agree with that.
You're better off taking lots of short trips than 2 or 3 long trips. For instance, if you spend 21 hours shopping per week, it would be better to take 7 3-hour trips rather than 3 7-hour trips. Who has 7 hours to go shopping? And finally, the frequent shoppers in the study not only stayed younger, but they also had greater self-esteem. Well, sure they do. So would I if I could spend $200 a week shopping and not have to worry about it. Do I get reimbursed for this since I'm part of your study? I got to go shopping again.
I love shopping.
I don't. As a matter of fact, I'm not a shopper. I'm just a buyer. I walk in, I know what I need, I buy it. And
See, and I can shop and not buy anything. I could be in a store for 3.5, 4 hours and not buy a thing and be
I'm like,
perfectly
so what'd you get?
happy.
You're like, nothing? I'm like, what the? You were in there for 3 hours. You didn't get anything? No. Now I want to stop over here. I'm like, if you need me, I'll be sleeping in the trunk. All right, coming up, we got some more fun stuff. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheeliter.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheeliter.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheeliter.com.
It's not, really unknown thing. I think it's pretty well known that Americans don't eat enough fruits and veggies. Data from the USDA lets us count the ways now. According to figures that compare actual grocery spending with what the government recommends over an 8-year period, says we're buying a fraction of the green veggies and whole fruits and other things that are suggested. Instead, we buy way more juice and frozen dinners and candy.
Yeah.
Did they need to do a study to find that out?
I mean, I
Stand
think
at the
that's
grocery
common.
store for 3 minutes.
Right,
you'll figure
exactly.
it out. I mean, maybe 4 minutes if you really need to put a lot of time into it. So the USDA, I wonder how much they spent on that study.
It's ridiculous.
This was over an 8-year period. Somebody got paid for 8 years to tell them that. Yeah, we don't eat enough veggies. What do we eat
You
instead?
think?
Frozen dinners, candy, and juice.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get my check now? We need to get in on these studies. There's money right there. We got to get some of that
They should
money.
have dispersed that money out to the female population in this
For the
country.
other shopping thing, yeah.
For the shopping thing, it would not only boost the economy, but it would slim down women,
There
give them
you
better
go.
skin
See?
tones and higher confidence levels.
Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about an interesting thing that's happening in China, and it's a way to say I'm sorry. And it's just bizarre, but it's on the way.
John and Heidi.
All right, this is one of the weirdest stories I've ever read. This is supposedly true. Is it hard for you to say I'm sorry?
Sometimes.
It must be really difficult for some people in China, but there's actually a business called the Apology and Gift Center. They just opened in Tijuana, China. I don't know if I'm saying any of that right. Their slogan is, "We say sorry for you." And for $2.50, they'll send somebody an in-person apology on your behalf. Now, along those same lines, this is the part that is really weird. The most popular radio show in Beijing is the John and Heidi Show. No, it's not. It's actually a show called Apologize in Public Tonight.
Oh, my
The
God.
show allows people to call in and apologize over the air, and that is the most popular radio show in China, in Beijing, China. I don't understand
If it's
that.
hard to apologize in person to one person, why would you want to broadcast it across your entire country?
No clue. I don't understand. But that's the way they do things in China. So.
Well,
Coming up, we're going to give you some
Yet
ways.
another reason I probably won't go to China.
Got the top 10 ways to score a better job offer. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I know a lot of the people that listen probably have a good job and they're happy where they're at. But, there's got to be, just through the power of the way things work, there's got to be at least somebody listening that wants a different job, right?
You would think so.
It has to be at least somebody. So I got some info here from Career Builder. They have the top 10 ways to score a job offer. Number 1, sell yourself. You've worked hard in school or in your career. Don't be afraid to share these accomplishments. It says here, at the end of your cover letter, the trick is to include something so intriguing that employers won't have any choice but to at least call you and learn more. Put a little P.S. P.S. This job would be the most interesting thing since the time I saved that busload of orphans. Or, I don't know, maybe not that. But hopefully something true. Number 2 on the list says, have a goal before you apply. So know what you want to do before you just start throwing things out there, because then you'll know if it's a good offer or if it's not. Next, put a figure to it. Figure out how much you're worth by looking into salaries of other people. There's one site, cbsalary.com. There's others out there online where you can find how much should I be making. Next, prove the claims in your resume. So if you're putting things in there that you're claiming, the best way to prove it is have testimonials from other people that were involved in that. So reach out and just say, hey, do you have a comment that I could put? Remember that time we did this? And I'm trying to put that on my resume. You have a comment that I can add to that? I think that would add a lot to it. Next, know the company. With all the information available today on the internet, before you walk through the doors, if you don't know a little something about who you're going in to see, shame on you. I mean, you need to. Give employers a reason to hire you. When you follow up after the interview, give them some more reasons to hire you. Following up, by the way, is a great reason. Be prepared. Bring a resume and a list of references. Be early. Be professional. All those things you should be just common knowledge. Think for the employer. Never assume that they're going to know which job is best suited for you. Give them ideas of, hey, you know what? I think I'd be. I
should have your job.
I think I'd be a really good CEO. I mean, what's your boss do these days? And then use an angle. If the company is a competitor to a company you've worked for, try to get them to know that. Try to get an insider to recommend you to the hiring manager. So if you know somebody that might be able to help you, don't be afraid to do that. And then
but make sure that they're well liked at the job.
Hey, I got
you don't
a
want to find
recommendation
the
for you.
biggest slouch at the company and say, you know what?
This guy Mike, he'd be good.
He's my kind of guy.
We were just going to
You should hire him.
And then the last one is prepare for disaster. It says if you go in and you're prepared for it, then no matter what happens, you're going to walk out happy. So there's some tips, 10 of them if you counted, for ways to score a better job offer from Career Builder. Coming up, we've got good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap this program up with some good news, and I think I have some here. When Simon Beck walks in the snow, he leaves tracks to remember, according to the Huffington Post. He creates giant murals as he trudges through the white stuff in his snowshoes. For one of his bigger works, Beck says he might spend 2 hours measuring his piece and 8 hours walking it out. That's about 40,000 steps for him, and he makes about 30 snow drawings per year. The Alps is his favorite main canvas. So isn't that cool? You don't think that would be awesome to be able to make a beautiful mural stomped out in the snow?
It's not like he's getting paid for that.
He probably is.
By who? Who's going to pay?
The Alps? I don't know if they... Does the Alps have a checkbook?
I don't believe so, no.
He's probably getting paid somehow. I don't know. Maybe not. His name is Simon Beck. You'll have to... Oh, hey, I've got a link. I'll throw it on our Facebook page if you want to check it out.
I'm sure they're lovely, but...
I think that sounds like something fun. Again, our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Super excited for a lot of fun stuff over the next week or so. So don't miss a single second of the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the good folks at Knowles Systems. And if you haven't heard of them, well, you need to listen up because I got to tell you all about this. If you have funds earning less than 6%, maybe you should check into a better system like Knowles Systems. They have commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. If you've never heard of a commercial mortgage bridge loan, I'm going to tell you what this is. It's a loan paying 6% to 8%, and it could be just what you need. You're placed in the first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels and apartments and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. You can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. If you'd like more info on how you can start earning 6% or more right now, call 888-547-8007. I'll give you that number again in a second, but first, you might want to just check out the website if that's easier. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com or 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
This may be the shortest bonus break we've ever had, Heidi.
Okay,
All I'm going
good.
to do is run through a list of great lines from job evaluations. I think this is kind of funny.
Okay.
I would not allow this employee to breed. This associate is not so much of a has-been, but more of a definitely won't be.
Oh.
Works well when under constant supervision and cornered like a rat in a trap. When she opens her mouth, it seems only to change whatever foot was previously there. Again, more job evaluation, real lines from job evaluations. He would be out of his depths in a parking lot puddle. This young lady has delusions of adequacy. Oh, man. He set low personal standards and then consistently failed to achieve them. This employee is depriving a village of an idiot somewhere. This employee should go far, and the sooner he starts, the better. Not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Again, actual things from job evaluations, real comments. Got into the gene pool with the lifeguard and was not looking. A room temperature IQ. Got a full six-pack but lacks the plastic thing to hold it together. A gross ignoramus, 144 times worse than an ordinary ignoramus.
Aww.
A photographic memory, but when the lens cover, but with the lens cover glued on. A prime candidate for natural deselection.
Oh.
Bright as Alaska in December. Apparently, that's not bright. One-celled organisms could outscore him on an IQ test. Donated his brain to science before he was done using it. Fell out of the family tree. Gates are down, lights are flashing, but the train is not coming. Next one says, has two brains. One is lost, the other one's out looking for it. He's so dense, light bends around him. If brains were taxed, she would get a refund. If he were any more stupid, he'd have to be watered twice a week. Okay, that's not nice. And we got just a few more. If you give him a penny for his thoughts, you'll get change back. If you stand close enough to him, you can hear the ocean. On one neuron short of a synapsis, whatever that means. Do you know what that means?
No. I just think that's funny the way you said that.
Some drink from the fountain of knowledge, but he only gargled. Takes him an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. And our final three. Wheel is turning, but the hamster's dead. Since my last report, this employee has reached rock bottom and has started to dig. And the final, His men would follow him anywhere, but only out of morbid curiosity.
Some of the I feel bad for those people.
Oh, I think those are funny. Those are actual comments on somebody's what was it called again? Job evaluation.
Performance review. Yeah.
They're doing their evaluation. I deleted the top part already, so I'm glad you remembered. That's going to do it for our bonus break, brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, a commercial mortgage bridge loan could be just for you. They earn 6 to 8%. Get all of the details at commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.